The emotionally sensitive, especially those who want to please others, are often champion apologizers. You may apologize frequently because you care about others' feelings and because you don't want anyone to be angry or upset with you. So what's the problem? You may be thinking. We could use more politeness in this world, right? Of course. Apologizing when you've done something to be sorry for is admirable. But perhaps you've walked into a room, bumped into an empty chair, and said, "Oh, excuse me," or apologized because it was raining, or because someone else was sick. When you routinely apologize for these kinds of things, you portray yourself as responsible for all sorts of problems and accountable to everyone and everything, even inanimate objects, like the empty chair. Perhaps you often apologize for your opinions and ideas or apologize for standing up for yourself. When you do, you display a lack of self-respect that influences others to hold you in low regard. As a result, people may see you as inadequate, powerless, or incompetent. They may be less likely to take you seriously or even listen to what you have to say. Acting in ways that don't show self-respect may increase your dislike of yourself as well. Sometimes the emotionally sensitive are plagued with fears about relationships they treasure. Apologies can be an indirect request for reassurance, particularly when you allow others to define your values as a person. To cope with your fears, you may apologize to your loved ones frequently, perhaps even unaware that you're hoping for the other person to reassure you or tell you that there's no reason to apologize. Such behavior, however, can cause others to become resentful, thus damaging the relationships you treasure so much. Over-apologizing can cloud your understanding of yourself. When you apologize too often, you may lose your sense of what you're truly feeling because your focus is always on other people's reactions. You may not consider your motivations, how the issues you're apologizing for came about, or even whether you were really at fault. You may apologize automatically just to placate people. If you stop over-apologizing, then your feelings, values, and beliefs will become more clear, helping you maintain or develop your sense of who you are. Over-apologizing damages relationships. Apologizing too frequently could be robbing you of authentic relationships and feedback by limiting discussion of the true issues and preventing constructive conflict. If you aren't expressing your authentic feelings, the other person probably isn't comfortable doing so either. You're losing the trust and intimacy that might come from sharing thoughts and feelings as you work toward understanding each other's views. Plus, you're missing out on what's happening with your friends and families. Over-apologizing may cause your friends to see you as too fragile for honesty. They may reserve their true feelings and opinions because they believe you can't handle those truths. As a result, you may not be getting accurate feedback about the way your friends perceive you. Some friends may even see the relationship as too difficult and pull away. Over-apologizing may also give the impression that you think people should apologize for any possible insult, no matter how small. In other words, that you can't let things go. Your friends who are more easygoing may find that interactions with you are tense because you seem to worry too much. They may wonder whether you're keeping score and expecting them to apologize for things they normally wouldn't. This may create pressure for them to act in a certain way, which results in awkward interactions. Finally, over-apologizing can make it seem as if you think every situation is about you, which is ironic, given that what drives your apologetic behavior is concern for other people's feelings. Apologize with awareness. Sometimes, to save an important relationship, you may apologize, even though you did nothing wrong. If you find yourself doing this repeatedly with the same person, you might want to take a closer look at that relationship. Relationships that depend on you always being wrong or giving up your own needs and feelings aren't healthy. If the relationship is a good one and you rarely need to apologize just to save it, then consider the pros and cons of doing so. The cost of apologizing, even though you don't think you were wrong, may not be as high as the cost of losing a good relationship. In this case, you might want to apologize with the greater good, the good of the relationship, in mind. Learning to apologize only when it's appropriate could improve your self-respect, your awareness of your own opinions, your acceptance by others, and your overall understanding of your identity. Awareness is the first step. Be mindful of how often you apologize when there's no reason for it. Consider counting the number of unjustified apologies you give in a day. Notice whether there are certain situations that you're more likely to apologize for, or certain people or types of people to whom you're more likely to apologize. Sometimes just noticing your behavior will influence you to make different choices. Next, decide what words, in general, you might use instead of an apology. One option is to comment on the other person's experience. For example, "That must have been sad," instead of saying, "I'm so sorry."